Welcome to the Retro Graveyard. This time I have the Bang Olufsen Beocord 2000 cassette deck, produced between 1983 and 1987. This unit has an unusual eye-catching design and doesn't look like your typical cassette player. As well as being a functional standalone unit, it could be used with the matching Beomaster 2000 receiver unit, which incorporated an amp and radio. And the Beogram 2000 matching record player could also be used with this. In fact, this cassette deck can be connected with any Bang & Olufsen unit that has data link included. According to the serial number on mine, I think it was manufactured in 1985. It would have cost around £250 then. That's the equivalent of £970 in 2025. In this video, as well as having a look at its functions, I will be taking it apart and changing the belts, as I assume they are the originals. Also, I need to find an adjustment for the speed as it's playing a bit fast. Bang & Olufsen were founded 100 years ago in 1925 in Denmark by Peter Bang and Sven Olufsen, with their first product being a radio. The brand is known for its innovative designs and high-end audio systems. Here's some spec details. If you're interested, you can pause the video here. My unit is the 2921 version, which shows up here as 220 volt, which was standard at the time when manufactured for Denmark. So let's have a closer look. Press on programming and the flap opens up. I didn't realise until I was scanning through the manual, but there is a button here that opens the flap. So you'll see me opening the flap without using the button throughout the video probably. First on the left here there is a switch to select your cassette type, and next to that the Dolby on and off switch. Next we have the recording level slider. Then the cassette compartment. The tape is inserted by placing it in there at an angle like this so the top of the cassette fits under the clip. When playing, two clips move into position here to hold the tape in place. After pressing stop, just lift the tape out like this. Above that section there is a vent for the power supply. Moving down there is a VU represented as a row of lights that is activated when a tape is being played. It also doubles up as a recording level. Next are some touch controls. Record and stop, which is pause when pressed together for when recording. Then rewind, play and fast forward. If fast forward or rewind is pressed while playing, it will stop at the next gap in the music. Last on the right is a standby button. Pressing play will bring it back out of standby. Moving around the back, there's a built-in power lead and another built-in lead with a 5-pin male DIN plug attached. This provides audio input and output. I'm using an adapter so I can plug in RCA cables. Underneath there is a vent through to the mechanism and you can see the belts there. On the right there is another vent and there are two holes for mounting the unit onto the wall. I have a sticker on the back of mine that tells me where this unit was originally purchased from. It's from a shop called Monk's Radio in Denmark and it sold for 2,995 kroner. That's around 7,000 kroner today. Okay, so I'm going to open it up now and change the belts in here and see how I can adjust the speed. There are 6 screws to take out on the base first. Next there are some screws along the front here. Then 3 screws at the back need to come out. I didn't need to take that first one out. Also at the time I didn't realise that these screw into a small square nut at the back which is loose and they ended up falling out. I lost one but I found the other 2. I'll get to that when I'm putting this back together. And now this section lifts out. Before I go any further I'm going to change this small belt. There are 2 more underneath as well. Now 3 more screws to remove the mechanism and 2 screws to remove this bracket that's covering the flywheel. And now I can remove this belt. But to remove the other belt I need to take this part off. Now to reattach the bracket and screw the mechanism back in place. I'm just going to test it with the tape just to see if it's still playing fast. It is. I thought it probably wouldn't make a difference changing the belt, but it's worth checking, I think. I've noticed there is an adjustment screw for the speed in the top of the motor. It only needs to be turned a tiny amount. I'm not using any specialist equipment to measure the speed. I'm just comparing the track with the same one played on my phone. Not very scientific, but it does the job. Before I reassemble, I'll give the heads a clean with some isopropyl alcohol. So the back piece goes in place first, then the front touch panel. These are the square nuts that need to go in place for the back screws. You have to drop them into these slots on the top, and then you have something to screw into. I'll just give it another test to make sure everything is okay. All seems good. And here's how the VU looks in dimmer light. So that was the Beocord 2000. As I said earlier, Bang & Olufsen are known for quality electronics, and this being the first time I've experienced using one of their products, I'd have to agree. The sound produced by this unit is very impressive. If I had owned something like this when I was younger, then I would have much better memories of cassette sound quality than I do now. Also, the mechanism is very precise when stopping and starting and going straight to rewinding and fast forwarding. With the mechanism reacting to the touch controls so precisely, it really feels like an expensive high-end machine. And with the unusual but stylish design, it's going to look very cool on my wall. That's it for this video. I'm off to see what else I can find in the retro graveyard. Thanks for your attendance.